Have you got a trip scheduled? Are you going somewhere fun? Are you going to be traveling on your own or with family? We have some tips for you to make that experience a whole lot healthier.
To not get sick and to be well now. Hope they can see my goofy face on that. Hey, we want to stay healthy when we're traveling, right?
Absolutely.
We've all gotten sick, gotten dehydrated. You don't sleep very well. This is like a news you can use kind of podcast. I'm Nick, the curious patient.
And I'm Ron, Dr. Dummar.
And we are talking about how to hydrate, what supplements to take, and why moving your body is so important when traveling.
Absolutely. And one of the reasons that we decided we wanted to do this podcast was one of our patients was saying, hey, when are you going to come out with your travel kit, Dr. Dummar's travel kit? They love using our herbs. They love using our supplements and the recommendations that we have to keep their family healthy and safe through the holidays and through all of the time of the year. But they were like, what do we do when we're traveling? Because you can't exactly take a massive pod of everything you think you might maybe need in every instance. So what is the best things? What are the best things that you can do for your body and yourself that is kind of minimalized into a very nice packet that you can travel with?
Yeah, I just feel like I don't sleep very well in a hotel, for example, and there's so many variables outside of my control. Mm-hmm. So what might sound obvious is actually interesting. You talk about hydration.
Yeah.
And one tip that you mentioned earlier is like, as soon as you get to your area, try to find a grocery store, gas station, whatever, and pack yourself some bottled water for your hotel room. Can you talk about that?
Absolutely. So anytime that I do travel, whether it's by car or by plane, if we're getting to a hotel or the place that we are, I always make sure I have water bottles. And there can be a discussion, like we mentioned before, about the quality of water bottles and the quality of water, and we can go off another time on that. But find some water bottles. Make sure you have them in the trunk of your vehicle, and make sure you have some in your hotel room, enough for at least a couple of days.
Now, what about supplementation around water? Because obviously there are hydration supplements out there. I know that you can do like a Celtic sea salt or a real salt, which they kind of source in Utah.
So hydration really is not just water. It's not just hydrogen and oxygen. In fact, hydrogen and oxygen doesn't quite have the pH alone as hydrogen and oxygen that we're looking for. So pH is an important aspect of hydration and of the reason that we're hydrating as well. So our minerals are generally pretty alkaline or pretty basic. And so introducing minerals into your water in the form of salt, sodium and chloride, can actually help with mineralization in the body and provide electrolytes. So potassium, sodium, chloride. There are a variety of different supplements. There's one that's called Relight, I think that people can get. I prefer just to use a little Celtic sea salt or some real salt, some mineral salt if I'm on the road. Or if I do find a store, I can get some lemons. I can have some lemons there, and I can put that and squeeze it into my water as well. Most restaurants, if you're around a restaurant or hotels, they'll have lemons as well that they'll bring to you, and you can squeeze that into your water, and that will help you be hydrated.
So what's going on in a plane? Like, why is that so stressful on my body?
Yeah, so we mentioned this a little bit earlier, Nick, and the thing is, the body incurs different pressures when we fly. And I'm not sure if you've ever experienced it, but if someone has an earache already, and then they get on a plane, the amount of pressure that's going to be experienced almost intracranially, but certainly within the ear, the inner ear, is much more significant than just hanging out here on the ground. The same thing is incurred. I actually spoke with a patient just yesterday who does dive certification. And we were talking about, whether or not my family could all be certified and do that. And my 6-year-old, I thought, well, that'd be fun if he could do it too. And he said, well, yeah, 6-year-olds, we're even certifying as young as 6 years old right now, but we don't know the science of what happens to the blood at those pressures depending on the depth. So they have a depth limit that they allow certain ages to go to. So The point is that there are pressures placed on the body that adapt physiology. It requires a lot more oxygenation to the blood. It requires a lot more even production of white blood cells and stem cells in the body. So your body begins to work a little bit harder, which can lead to some of the things that people experience, such as like jet lag, because the body's almost overworked over this long flight.
Yeah, because it feels like sometimes it's not so much even the flight itself as it is the stress to get to the airport early in the morning, to stand in line, to just remember you haven't lost anything, to feel like you've lost control, really. I mean, you're just sort of in a play. A lot of people are really into control.
Hand it over.
And you have to hand it over.
Yeah.
So it seems like there's a lot of stress going on as well. So how can we mitigate some of that stress with supplementation as well as the pressure on the flight?
Yeah, so I think that the hydration is the key initially, and being in a hydrated state is going to help the body overall. Now, when you're hydrating frequently, what people will notice, they're going to go to the bathroom more frequently, and it's something you need to do, right? Like,
so be okay with
clear
the fact
things out. Go
that
to the bathroom.
You need to walk down the aisle.
Yeah, it's okay. And you know what? We're going to save you, because if you stay still in a plane and don't give up, or don't get up to move while you're on a flight, you actually have a higher risk of developing a blood clot or something like that. And we don't want that. So what we want you to do is get up and take the time to go to the bathroom, right, during a flight. Fine. So if you happen to be in that situation, great. Count yourself lucky that you got to get up, be exercised a little bit, move those muscles, and then we're able to clear that water as well. So supplementation.
Which, by the way, you can all get through
Heber.com.
These are all supplements that he offers, Dr. Dummar. Just to let you know, in case you're like, well, what did he just say? These are all available. You can call your office and
absolutely. We have all of these, and we can put them up on our website and make them available. We are putting together a travel kit so that patients will know exactly, okay, what do I need when I travel, and what are the things that might come up, and we're going to talk about some of those things today. But other things just generally, like supplementation. When people talk about traveling, they're like, okay, how do I support my body? How do I prevent illness? We're looking at prophylactically. How do I, first of all, prevent? Because that's where we want to start. And the reality is we know that certain things may happen or might occur, and we can talk about those in just a second. But first of all, what do we want to do to prevent? Well, make sure you have a really good quality multivitamin or mineral. I have one that is excellent that I recommend for a number of our patients, and travel with that.
It's actually a supplement that dissolves in water. It's orange. It has kind of a sweet taste. Doesn't spike your blood sugar.
Nope.
Full of all kinds of goodies. So if you haven't tried it, you're looking for that multivitamin. I can attest.
Yeah, it's really, really good. You want to make sure your cells are exchanging the nutrients properly, and that you have a proper amount of minerals and vitamins to support your body, macros and micros. So the other thing that I think is important is usually when we travel, we're eating in a way that is different, at least somewhat different, than we usually do.
Absolutely.
That we're used to.
Yeah. Like I cook every meal now, and then when I'm on the road, you got to give it all away.
Yeah, exactly.
The flow of there's only so much you can do.
And then maybe you're meeting with someone and they have a favorite spot, and that food is not exactly kind of the food that you're used to, or so there's different things that your body is going to be exposed to, your stomach especially, your digestive system, the biotic culture of your gut, and you need to be able to support your body in that. Well, one of the mechanisms we have in our body to be able to keep ourselves safe from harm and pathogenic factors is acid, hydrochloric acid to be specific, right? So hydrochloric acid, it makes up a significant part of our stomach acid, which breaks food down. It begins the process of breaking the food down. And then that acidic state of the food, as it moves into the small intestine, it initiates, because it's more acidic, it initiates the secretion of enzymes by your own body so that you can continue the breakdown of that food. So there are a variety of different signals. The other thing that is super great about the acid in the stomach is having a sufficient supply of acid will actually neutralize pathogenic factors, bacteria. It's designed that when we consume it, And if there's any bacteria in there that might disrupt our system, the acid's designed to consume it and destroy it.
So you mentioned a digestive enzyme, HCl, bile. Talk about what supplementation will assist in that.
Yeah, so digestive enzymes, there's a variety of digestive enzymes. There are enzymes that are specific to breaking down starches, enzymes that are specific to breaking down carbohydrates, enzymes that are specific to breaking down proteins. So we're talking about things like protease, lipase, pancreatin is a pancreatic enzyme as well. There's a variety of different enzymes that you can get in supplement form. And we have a really good supplement I like that provides the acid for the stomach, but also provides a little bit of bile in addition. And bile is what breaks down fats. So oftentimes when we're eating out or we're eating in new situations, we're exposed to different types of fats as well. And so we need a little support in breaking those fats down, extracting that the energy essentially out from the fat so that we can utilize it in our body.
So even if you're just going to go out to eat and maybe you're not so sure what it's going to be like, you could bring some digestive enzymes and just like pop them?
Yeah, even if you're not traveling.
Yeah,
sure.
Okay.
So, so if you're at home, what do you usually have? Typically people, I think, at home have apple cider vinegar. So one thing I recommend for my family and kids is if we're going to go out to eat somewhere, especially if we're going to go out and eat sushi, if we're going to eat raw fish or undercooked stuff at all, then we're going to have some apple cider vinegar to initiate and rev up the acidity of our stomachs so that it's ready to, if we do come across any pathogen, it's ready to break that down and neutralize it.
A nice way to...
So that's something people can do at home.
Yeah, but even if you do apple cider vinegar, you're likely not going to have it on the road. Yeah. Unless you get to that store.
Exactly. So that's why we recommended that supplement, which is actually called Hypo D.
Hypo D, which you offer through Community Health and Wellness. You also talked about this supplement you have called EasyJet. We promise this is not trying to sell your stuff.
Sure.
Although it wouldn't be a bad thing. Obviously, you like what you have curated. You're a natural. You've made these herbs, right?
I think they're great. Yeah, these are. Yeah. I've designed a number of these herbals myself and put them together. And this next one that you're talking about, a patient of mine is a university professor, and she was flying all over the world for certain things that she was doing. So she would fly to Alaska and then to China and Europe, and she was developing significant jet lag. And she asked me if there's anything I could do to help her jet lag. So I put together this formula for her, which she then reported was amazing, and she's ordering it to this day. She's moved states actually, and she still orders it. And it's great because she'll call up and we'll have different discussions about how she's doing as well. But the thing about EasyJet is it supports the body's demand for increased production of blood product and white blood cells and immunoglobulins, right? So things that are going to protect and help your body to essentially step into what we call a phase called autophagy. So it helps your body to, as it's cleaning up and getting rid of things that have been used and broken down, it helps your body to build the new product and have it ready to go.
That sounds great to me.
Yeah.
You also wrote down silver solution, which I'm not sure what that means.
So this is our
supplementation.
This is our solution. It's not. People often say, "Oh, is it colloidal silver?" It's not colloidal silver. It is actually a dark brown solution, and it is a silver protein. So it is much more potent than colloidal silver, and you can use it. You can use it in a variety of different ways. So kids, I like to travel with this. I like to always have it with me because sometimes kids playing in the pool or horsing around, playing around, if you're traveling with kids, and they put their hands in their eyes and their nose everywhere, and they can end up with pink eye, right? Well, that's the last thing that you want when you're traveling, is to have a case of pink eye going around everywhere. So you put one drop of this solution in that eye and it clears it up, and it's gone. And I've seen this happen multiple times over and over. It's a very effective solution. You can also drop it in the ears. You can use it for sinus issues, drop it in the nose, in the nasal cavity. You can gargle with it if you feel like you have a throat-related issue. You can even insert it into the urethra if you feel like there's a UTI or some sort of other issue that you might be dealing with at the time that's causing an issue there.
So just a nice antiviral option.
Antiviral, it's an antibiotic, antifungal, and antiseptic.
Like if you're starting to feel really sick when you're traveling?
You could take a couple of drops, just put a drop or two. It's very potent, so you'd only need even a drop or two in water and ingest it.
Okay.
And I've done that for patients with a variety of different internal infections, and it's worked really well. So it's a little bottle. This is why I like it for traveling, because it's like this big and that wide. So it's a little bottle, and it's very potent and very effective.
Okay. And then great supplementation tips. What about moving your body?
So exercise is critical. Movement is critical. And we hinted a little bit about this before on the plane, because if you just stay still, that's the greatest time that you have on the plane. Your body's still being exposed to certain pressures, right? But if you're just going to stay still, you have higher risk of developing certain disorders. Well, give yourself an opportunity to stand up, even if you don't have to go to the bathroom. You see someone going to the bathroom, follow them, right? And then you're back there. Oh, I'm next up, right? But you're standing there, and they might give you a look or two, but still, you're there waiting for the bathroom. Do a stretch.
You're never going to see them again. Come on.
Yeah.
Now.
Step in when you're done. Use the restroom and then go. Okay, but do some squats. You can do some squats, you can stretch, reach out, touch your toes, massage. I like to sometimes even just massage my calves, rub behind in the back there. You can massage your thighs a little bit if you need to, but make sure that your body, while you're on a flight, has some level of stimulation or movement, muscular contraction, so you're pumping the blood through the body and stimulating the production of blood, but also the movement of blood through the heart as well.
And one thing I told you is I can sometimes fall asleep when I'm traveling, but I just have fitful sleeping, and I feel like I'm just never well rested.
Yeah, and I think that a really good solution for that is to exercise. If you can do some exercise before you go to sleep, it will help. It will help with your biorhythms, because that's one of the big things that people have problems adjusting to. They were used to going to sleep at this time, which is actually 3 or 4 hours different than where they are right now, right? And getting your body sweat, getting all the organs moving, getting your heart rate up, activating your body, it's going to initiate activity by the autonomic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system is what regulates our biorhythms and our wake-sleep cycles. And so if you initiate that production and then you go lay down, it's almost like you're teaching your body, okay, now this is when we need to lay down. This is when we need to rest. So we're going to be able to adapt a lot quicker to the change in times that we're sleeping.
Some awesome advice. If you have more questions about traveling, bewellnowpodcast@gmail.com. I'm excited. I'm going to get some of this EasyJet for my next plane trip.
Amen to that.
Oh, yeah. The pregnant pause of awkwardness. We're trying to keep these under 20 minutes.
Yeah, that was good.
Trying to serve people out there, give them... I know that when I'm on YouTube, I can see something, and if it's like an hour long, I just won't even click on it.
Right, yeah.
Unless it's someone...
Do I have time for this? Can I digest this right now? I don't think so.
But if I get some of these digestive enzymes...
There you go. Then you can.
One more time, what are those called?
This is Hypo D.
Hypo D. Mm-hmm. From Dr. D. Dr. Dummar. Be well now, everybody. Namaste.
Namaste.